That's okay.
Use camera. Okay. Start screen share.
So did you see that the Avs are going to have the fleur-de-lis on the bottom of their reverse retros?
No, I did not.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be it's still with the Avs colors, but
Oh, you said the Avs.
yeah.
I thought I heard the Habs. I was like, because that's like, I'm gonna hit live here, because that is pretty.
The Habs one's, I think they'll release that. They'll do the preview stuff tomorrow, and it based off of what I saw off of that that little the teaser that they put out. It's gonna be a blue jersey for the Canadians, and I'm not sure I like it.
That's pretty Nordique of them. Like, my studio is taking a bit to. It should either only be red or white. Wonder what the Leafs are gonna do.
I didn't realize it was going to be that blue.
Yeah. The Leafs are going to be, I think, blue and they're blue and white. So what else can they do?
They could go red. They could do the Canada's team thing.
No, they're not going to though. They're doing blue and white of some sort.
And in reference to what Sean was talking about.
Yeah. Because the whole point of this reverse retro is to play off of an old jersey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Though all the Leafs could do green because they had the old St. Patrick jersey.
But based off of that teaser, they are doing just blue and white of some sort. Okay, let's go.
All right. We are live. Well, hello, everyone. I'm not paying attention because there was an interesting message. Gosh, okay. Look alive. All right, we're ready. Hello, welcome to the Hockey Podcast. We are live. Follow us on Twitter at podcast_hockey. Subscribe on YouTube, The Hockey Podcast. Like us on Facebook, The Hockey Podcast. Subscribe also wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Google, etc., etc. I feel like I'm in off-season mode. It's weird because, it's normally hockey season, but, we are not in non-hockey season. We'll get into that. We've got a couple of things to talk about. We are endeavoring to be shorter than usual, right, Heidi? This is the attempt here. So instead of the normal 2.5 hours, we will be 2 hours and 20 minutes.
It's a start.
How are things? You got the nice retro Flames jersey in your background.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice when I'm actually on the podcast and we bust out some Flames stuff. Although apparently I missed the memo. I should have worn a Flames t-shirt. I am not wearing one because you guys are all wearing Canucks shirts, I see. So I might have to go do a costume change in the middle of this podcast at some point.
That's fair. Sean, you've got the V, and you've got the skate in the background.
Yeah, the second rink retro, and then the V on my shirt. So yeah, with the NHL going reverse retro with some special jerseys coming up this season, it felt like a good thing to do.
True. Chris, well, first of all, we got to say congratulations.
Thank you. Taken now.
Yes.
As if you weren't last week and the week before and the week before and the week before.
Yeah.
But now I actually wear something on my hand, though.
Yeah.
It was a great ceremony. Well done for everyone that watched. Congratulations. I have a point here that I did want to bring up, and it was about the vows. Sean and Heidi, you have been picking on me about my hatred for puppies. Chris, there was something about puppies Hannah said that he would something about puppies.
So to go into a slight rabbit hole, I'll try and keep it short, Heidi.
Our goal again, 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I have a strict 3-pet maximum set for Hannah and I. So the fact that we currently have 3 cats means no dogs. So what she was saying in her vows was that even if she sees a super cute puppy and really wants to take it home, she'll respect my 3-pet rule.
Considering that's how you got Bowie, it's good.
Yeah.
So he doesn't hate puppies then?
No, I don't. You're the only one who hates puppies, Kevin.
Only you, Kevin. Only you hate puppies.
I do not hate puppies. Tyler, we don't know where Tyler is. Tyler. But yeah, he's out doing things, and Devin's tweeting. I don't know what's Devin doing?
He is sitting on this couch with a beer in one hand, a Tim Hortons in the other, probably putting one down just so he can stuff his face with a Timbit, and then watching the Masters, which is the 2020 Masters, which happens in the fall, not the spring this year. So
yes, because we are 2020. Well, Devin, if you want to come on, if I know that the golf is very important, but
apparently more important than the hockey.
But how is that? Wow.
I know.
Jeez. Okay, so we have two big topics. We'll start with the fun one, and then we'll do the serious one after. The reverse retro jerseys. There has been teases coming out, little snippets of what we're seeing. We've seen some colors. The Flames have introduced a form of black. I will try to find a screen share of what we're seeing while we're talking. The Canucks have a green, bluish type of logo. What do we think of this reverse retro idea, and what are we thinking so far about what the Flames and Canucks reverse retros are going to look like?
I'll start with the Flames.
Yeah.
Well, for anybody who's a Flames fan or knows a Flames fan, like those of us who love Blasty have wanted and if you don't know what Blasty is the horse logo that they wore in whenever that was. I think the first year was 98, 97, 98.
It was during the Young Guns of the late 90s.
Yeah.
98, 99 was the first year they wore it.
So it's the black jersey. I believe that's the jersey that Iginla's wearing on whatever cover of NHL he was on that year. But yeah, so that's been something that Flames fans have been wanting to come back for. I would say it's run rampant for the past couple of years, and they've slowly been releasing because I know I got a Blasty hat about a year or two ago because they brought back some t-shirts and some hats and stuff with it. So all signs are pointing that this is going to be one of those horsehead jerseys. Exactly what they're going to be doing with it is interesting, just because of this whole reverse retro concept. I didn't even think about the fact that they might change the way that the color scheme is on that that logo. If Kevin moves to the left, Kevin, can you move yourself to, no, the other left, sorry. So like right now, like the horse is like mostly kind of yellow-ish. And so like the yellow and the red might get changed, or like something might get reversed in there. And that's something that just started getting talked about this week, just in some fan communities that I'm part of. So that it'll be interesting to see what exactly they do. I have no doubt that it's anything but Blasty. So I'm excited for it. There is a, not to go into too much into why, but there's a chance that I might have a roughly $300 coming in a random paycheck in the next couple weeks. So that is planning on getting myself one of those whenever they come or deciding to be released. And I might have to decide what player I might want to get, if I get a player at all.
It was also where Iginla got his first, the Blasty jersey was when Iginla got his first 50 goals, 50th goal. So there is a historic. As an older Flames fan, I was surprised about the generation's love for Blasty, because it just was part of a dark time for the Flames. But then you kind of look at it and there's been a lot of dark years for the Flames. So I think it would be fun to bring back Blasty.
Yeah, and like for the people who know like my history of being a Flames fan, like I really wasn't a Flames fan at that point. I just really wasn't into like hockey and stuff at the point. But in the time that I've become a Flames fan, like I love seeing that jersey. I think it's fun, it's slick. I like the way that most black jerseys look. So yeah, as I said, I don't want to like speculate too much about exactly what it will look like, but I think it will look good. I trust Adidas to do a good job, and yeah, I'm excited.
I've given everyone screen share. I'm not able for some reason to screen share this on my end. So if you guys find it on the computer, you have the ability to, if you want to. Yeah, at least I really do like the black for the, like that. At least one of my least favorite Flames jerseys, just to go on the rabbit hole, was the old, was the one that looked like the New Jersey Devil jersey. It had it had Calgary on it. I think it was the third jersry.
The Walmart jersey.
I was gonna say Sean calls that the Walmart jersey.
Yeah, that is my least favorite Flame jersey.
I don't absolutely hate that jersey, but it's probably one of the ones that I would say is like the bottom of my list if I had to pick. But yeah, I swear if they tried to bring something like that back, I would not be very happy. But I'm very doubtful about that.
Yeah. Well, just as I guess an informational reminder for those with all this, on the teaser, they all had different numbers on the back of the jerseys, and then on these little like the individual team teasers that they're doing, where they're showing bits and pieces of the jerseys, they always show the collar, and in the back of the collar it says 98, and for the Flames, and that's the year that Blasty was introduced was 1998. It's one of the, once you figure that out, you can kind of figure out what every team is kind of doing. So with that in mind, it like Heidi said, it is going to be Blasty. It's the worst kept secret in Flames in the Flames information right now. So I like it. I like the Blasty logo for Calgary, because I think it actually does make it's a better logo for Calgary, as opposed to just a C with Flames, because the Flames comes the team name Flames comes from the Atlanta Flames, which comes from the major fire in Atlanta that they were that they named the team after, and then they just kept the team name when they moved to Calgary. So I've always felt that that's my own. I always want to see a little bit more of incorporating what makes every area special, and every city and area around it special. So bringing in a horse of some sort, I think really does bring that into what what
Localizes it.
localizes it for the Flames, and I make fun of it just because I'm a Canucks fan, like the flaming snot rockets, but I do like the Blasty logo for what it is, and especially as a third logo, and it doesn't change the color scheme too much for the Flames.
Correct me if I'm wrong, is the alternate Captain A that the Flames used the old Atlanta Flames logo?
Yeah.
No.
Well, are you talking about the one with the A with the little flames coming through it?
Yeah. Like almost like the wick of a candle sort of flame. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Atlanta Flames. That's what that is. That pays homage to it. Sean doesn't believe me.
I thought it was just a normal A for the assistants.
It
No,
is on the old retro jerseys, but I think on the current jersey,
You're right.
yeah, it is an homage to the Atlanta Flames.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Sean was saying that on the back of the
seasonal.
collar, it talks about the year. So like for the Canucks, it's 2001. And for the Canucks, anyone who remembers that was the gradient jersey season. So pretty much all Canuck fans know that we're getting a blue to green gradient as opposed to the navy blue to like burgundy that we had then.
Can you pull up what that old one used to look like for me?
And
Which one?
personally, as far as my take on it, I'm actually a big fan of that. And if it is as sharp as what some Canuck fans who are graphic designers have mocked up, I'm really stoked and definitely plan on getting a jersey.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it as well. I think it is going to look really sharp, really just because I really do like the blue green color scheme. I think it again, it's West Coast. It plays into that. I think there's some talk about whether or not it's going to be the Orca logo or the stick and rink. So, but I think it's going to be the Orca logo. If you look at some of the mock-ups that some people have done, they've tried to change the outline to green, which I really hope they don't do. I don't think they will, because if you look at what they've got when they made this gradient jersey, they didn't change the logo at all. They just it already had that red outline when they had that version of the Orca logo. So, but I really do. I'm looking forward to it as well. I think it's going to look sharp. I think it might end up being something that they end up turning into like a third jersey type deal, because I think the current third jersey, the stick and rink with the just the green striping, that doesn't looks very minimalist. There's a lot of people that don't like it. So I do wonder if this ends up pushing them towards a revamp of that again.
I also think that the Canucks underutilize the green. So if we include jerseys that have more green in it, I'm definitely a fan.
Yeah, if you go on to, there's a reverse retro jersey that you could see every one of them. And yeah, kind of the Sculler scheme. I do agree. See, I guess to me, I've never been a big fan of the Orca logo. I just thought it looked like a really clunky. It didn't feel Canucks to me. Like, I feel like this steak and rink or the V that you have on now, Sean, I feel that's more Canuck than that Orca. I've never been a big fan of that logo.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people who aren't. I think they associate it with Orca Bay Entertainment, which was felt very corporate for a lot of fans.
And was the leadership group prior to the Aquilinis.
Yeah. But I like it. Like I said, it's West Coast. The Orca is a very is an animal that's very well part of the history and everything about what is the West Coast of Canada. So I think it is Vancouver, To me, it is. I don't just because it's not. It wasn't the stick and rink, which is. I really like it. It's a very simplistic logo, but I like it. The V is and the skate. Are also really good logos, but I think they went back to it and they've stuck with it, and I don't mind it. I think it does. I think it is a very much says Vancouver and the West Coast, just like how like I said, Blasty sort of says Calgary, and the Oilers being up in more of a blue collar oil town is oil, like screams Edmonton and all that. So I don't know. I have to disagree with you there, Kev. I think it does say Vancouver and does say Canucks.
I think the other thing, fair, I'll give you that, but I think the other thing that it's sort of the other thing I've not been a big fan of is sort of what it triggers a memory of what I'm going to say. This is my first hot take. Oh, bye, Chris. Oh, he'll be back. This is a hot take. This is going to create some controversy. I think that it's probably one of the darker times in Canucks history because of who was on the team. I relate it to Mark Messier. And in my opinion, it's only my opinion, he's one of the more overrated leaders in professional sports. I think he's gotten far too much love for. I'll give him 6 Stanley Cups, but I think I've not been a huge. That's the other thing. I'm kind of like it's really represents that Messier, Keenan era where they treated Trevor Linden like crap, and that's the other thing I don't like about it. It just triggers bad memories for me. I don't know about you two,
but it's also the West Coast Express era.
Yeah, I was going to say that as my counter.
Well, it's fair counter.
And then they've stuck with the Orca logo. We got Sedin's all in Orca. We've got we now have Petey and Besser and Hughes. Like, it's just because it started off poorly doesn't mean that you can't, like I said, the West Coast Express was kind of what dragged them out of that era, and they all wore it. They wore that exact same jersey with that exact logo. So it's going back to 2001, but I still think it's a great idea and cool looks. So if you look, but you also look at the V, like the V is like when Vancouver was not that good at all. Like they got one good season and went on the Cinderella run, and then got trounced by the Islanders in the Cup final. So I think and then same thing with the skate. Like the skate logo was just for the majority of that especially in the late 80s, the Canucks again were still not that good. It was still a dark time for the franchise. Then they got Linden and Bure, but same thing with the Orca logo. It started off a little bit bad, but then they got Naslund and Bertuzzi, and then you got Jovanovski, Oland, Morrison. Even Luongo wore that jersey for the first couple of seasons. He was with the Canucks. So I think I just think it's there. Yeah, you can be a little gun shy from the Messier situation, but there's still a lot to look back on with the Orca logo that is very good.
Yeah, and something that I think we haven't touched up on is the fact that they incorporate like the Haida Gwaii style artwork, and at least to me, that is definitely what Sean was referencing with like the horse and Blasty for the Flames, kind of localizing that for them. That kind of brings that West Coast flavor for the Canucks.
Fair. Okay. Fair enough. Heidi, what do you think of the Canucks retro?
So actually I didn't know that, because I was wondering where this idea of the gradient came from. I actually didn't know that there was a Canucks jersey that had that gradient on it. That color scheme, that maroon blue thing, I think is the ugliest Canucks jersey I've ever seen, and I've always hated it. And then when I saw this gradient version, it's even worse. But I think
my first jersey actually.
But I think this concept of doing it with blue and green will not be that bad. From what kind of like I've seen of like the Canucks mock-up ones, I think it'll look I think it'll look good. Like for as much as me just looking at a Canucks jersey, I'm always going to have some kind of problem with it. But yeah, no, and like I think the grading tool will be it'll be unique, which is nice because then we could use that in some of the jerseys are getting a little bit stale.
And it's not a white jersey, so that's even better.
Yeah, and Sean hates white jerseys, so.
Yeah, none of them are. Even the Winnipeg, who I would have thought would have went white, actually went gray.
I believe the Oilers are going white as a main color. Dallas is, I believe.
Well, looking at these, there doesn't look like if this leak is what we're seeing here.
Minnesota's going North Stars and going white on a mainly white jersey with green and yellow trim.
Edmonton is going white and orange. That's interesting.
The Avs, they're going mainly white, but the big thing is they're throwing the fleur de lis down at the bottom of it, which is going to be interesting because throwing back to the Nordiques.
Yeah. New Jersey looks like Christmas.
I know. I'm so happy for that one. That's an underratedly good jersey that they had back then, and I'm glad they're going green and going homage to that. The Garden State. St. Louis is going red.
And trumpets, the trumpet jersey. Bring back the trumpet jersey.
I like that.
Cool.
I like that. That was the jersey. Gretzky wore that jersey when he played with St. Louis, I believe. Or it was there was a lot of red in that. It was blue and red. It was a lot more of a starker red. But just look at
Arizona one. The Arizona one should be interesting.
Yeah,
too.
the purple.
It's purple and it's got, I don't know, it was like a
peyote coyote, as I like to call it.
Yeah, like that idea. And I think there might be a cactus. I don't know. Also the I want to say the Whalers, the Hurricanes, but with the homage to the Whalers with the adorable little whale on it. Oh my gosh, I saw it and I like almost audibly squeed. It's so cute. And now I think that if they ever do another jersey, they need to have the entire whale on a jersey because I think it would be awesome. Not that I would pay $300 to get myself one, but it's so cute.
Oh, that Hartford Whaler jersey, though, was such a great.
Also, have we talked about the fact that Anaheim is going back to the Darkwing Duck?
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
That's the rumor, that they're going to Wild Wing.
Yeah, Wild Wing. I called it Darkwing, my bad.
Yeah, and then like I just, you know what, Sportsnet, can you please have Brian Burke somehow at an Anaheim when they're wearing that jersey and Carolina in the Whaler jersey doing that thing? Just can you imagine Brian Burke? I would pay $300 to see that. Anything else on the retro jerseys?
I'm just excited for it in general. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to. They'll preview the Northeast division tomorrow, and then we'll get. I think what they're doing is they're going to release everything, the full jerseys on Monday, is what I've heard, via Rob Williams at the Daily Hive in Vancouver. So I don't know if they can do that. If they announce it on Monday, we'll be able to have a really good look at it. But from what I've seen, they all look pretty interesting and cool because I think LA is going purple and gold as well.
I'm so excited about that. I love that purple and gold for the Kings.
I just hate the Chevron logo.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think they're only going to wear these jerseys for like 2 or 3 games, and they're designed to play against certain teams, so that they don't clash. So I do think it's going to be fun to watch them when they get on the ice with them, because that's usually when you see how good they actually look. And I like the creativity of them going, like I said, Kings going purple and gold again, getting purple in Phoenix with Arizona and the Coyotes, and then bringing back Blasty, bringing back Wild Wing, and bringing back that the trumpets for the Blues is kind of crazy, especially going red. Like that's the other thing is we're going to see a lot of like odd jersey colors for teams. The Blue Jackets are going red. The Blues are
Golden Knights are going red.
Hmm?
The Golden Knights are kind of doing a reddish.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that's considered retro, but
they have to include them. They're one of the 31 teams.
Well, what they should have done was pay homage to the Las Vegas Thunder or the Las Vegas Wranglers. That's what they should have done.
Yeah, they did have an opportunity there. I think that was surprising.
Celebrate hockey in Vegas and everything about it, and you celebrate some of the older teams. Find a way to incorporate those colors in.
Did anyone pay tribute to the California Golden Seals?
No.
That's too bad, because San Jose should have done that.
San Jose is going I think a black jersey.
No, the mock-up I saw was the teal with like the gray body.
Okay.
Like they're kind of drab, blah 90s jersey, in my opinion.
Yeah. Dallas can go back to have the Cowboys do a tribute to them.
No, just hoping that they don't have that ugly bull logo for Dallas. That thing just.
Well, are you talking about the Constellation jersey?
It looks like other things too.
I believe it might have been ovaries back in the day. Yeah. That looked like
Are you referring to the one that said stars?
No, like it had the constellation of the bullhead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They've never got that. They've never been able to get that logo right. Like in my mind.
I want to see this. They're making Sean pull it up. So I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, it was a pretty awful jersey. I will agree with Kevin that Dallas has struggled with getting it right, but I would argue that the new one, even though he hates it, is actually quite good in my opinion.
Which one? The one now? The current one?
The one that they just announced this offseason. The one that you thought was too like glow in the dark.
No, I don't like that jersey at all. I'm.
Well, you're wrong.
Like
I said, I'm not a big fan of. I was talking with Graham Mosiman about the Oilers ones that they've had, and how he was hoping that they're going back to like their WHA days, and like I said, as everyone knows, I'm not a big fan of the white jerseys because of the white ice. So anytime you get a chance to be a little creative and go black with like a bright green, like why not? It's better than like going another white jersey. Like there's too much white. There's too much white on the screen when you watch hockey with white jerseys, white ice. So either you need to change the color of the ice, which I don't know if we could actually handle that big of a change. Or you find a way to get rid of as many white jerseys as possible, because then I think it would look better.
The irony that he has a white jersey hanging behind him as he says that.
I know, right?
But if Sean gets his wish of seeing two colored jerseys playing against each other with these reverse retros, oh man, I can't imagine Sean's reaction to that.
Well, do you remember the game of the Leafs versus Red Wings at the Big House? The Leafs wore red, and it looked fantastic.
It did look. I do agree that looked fantastic. And then it was like the crowd was half red and blue too. It looked. That was probably. It's not the best outdoor game of all time, but it was certainly the best looking outdoor game of all time.
Mm-hmm. And they said like you add a little more color in there, and it's just going to look so much better, brighter. It's going to pop. The reason you can get away with white with football and soccer is because you got the green. You got the green field and pitch, and then with baseball, same thing. You got the field and background is not white. So please, let's get away from them as much as possible. I know you can't because of color being, it's tough to see sometimes, but let's try and get away from it as much as possible going forward. So I think it would make the game look so much better on TV.
I think the idea that the NBA has with like the more successful you are, the more jersey options you have. I would like to see the NHL adopt that in some way.
Well, I think what we're going to see is we're going to see a lot more willingness to have multiple jerseys.
Yeah.
Because this is this will be a fourth jersey for most teams going into this season. So I think it's going to be. They're loosening the willingness to just focus on one or like two or three jerseys going forwards, which I think is great because the more merchandise you can get out there for people to buy, the better. I was
going to make that point that because of 2020 has gone, they're going to take any opportunity they can to get extra revenue. And how do you do that? New jerseys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one thing I've always said, and that's the one major issue I have, of course, I'm wearing the red and yellow, is so different from your blue and green color scheme for the Canucks that I think it might just be the fact that I lived in Calgary for so long and the sea of red really sticks out. And then you go to like Vancouver and other places and it's all scattered. I love that uniformity of the sea of red. I think it really pops, and I would really love to see. That's why I like the skate logo and the black and red and yellow colors for like one-offs, but I do not want to see them change the color scheme again with the Canucks. Stick with the blue and green. That's why I'm really glad they went with they're going with blue and green with the 2001 gradient style for their reverse retro jersey, because I think it fits in, and then uniformity when you get people wearing jerseys at the games.
Yeah, I have always liked that too, especially like the sea of red when it's popping, the white when it pops in Winnipeg. It just has a different look at playoff time, but hopefully we can get fans in the stands sooner rather than later. We're a long way from that, but which brings us to our other topic, the more serious topic. The NHL had their Board of Governors meeting on Thursday, discussing when the season will start. They are targeting January 1st. They want to end the last game they want to have is July 15th. They are on, it is patterned that to the divisions that so we will see an all Canadian division, and Canadian teams will only be playing Canadian teams. It's going to be regional hockey this year. I guess my question is, what is the lowest amount that you are comfortable with having saying that we're going to have a season? We'll start with Heidi. Are you okay with anything lower than 48 as an example?
Sorry, Kevin, can you kind of rephrase that question? I was just trying to figure out what you mean. Like,
how many
minimum
games?
number of games?
What's the minimum number of games would you would say that this is a regular season? I'm happy with this.
Yeah, I think roughly about 50-ish games will be fine. Right now, I want to kind of see the ideas that come through from other people before I haven't put any ideas in my own head about that, but 50-ish games would probably be fine. It's depending on what you can do and how many teams you're going to actually be playing. If they do the Canadian division, that's, somebody tell me how many teams that is. That's 7? So let's see, 7. So if you played the other teams, So you'd be playing 6 teams. You play them each, what? So if you play them 7 times, that's 42 games.
So 8
Play
would be
the
56. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't. The only thing I worry about that is if you have that many games, but you're only playing so many games, it might get boring because you're seeing the same 7 teams playing constantly there. So there'd have to be some kind of way that either like they kind of split it. There's some way that they can make the game a little bit more high stakes. So then you have less games, but there's more on the line. Like I'm not sure exactly how to do it. Either way, it's going to be weird. I will just be happy to honestly have hockey back, no matter how they do it, as long as it's done safely and it's not. I always think it's weird with watching NFL and just kind of following that, just hearing like, oh, there's players with being put on the COVID list, and so as long as like the players and the staff and stuff are being precautious and being safe, I'm not going to be too picky about what it looks like, and I think there's a chance for it to still be fun and enjoyable.
Well, if you look at if they start on January 1st and play till the regular season till the end of April, because they're willing to go to July 15th, so there's an extra 2 weeks, and they play 3 games a week, that's 54 games. If they can average 3 games a week, that's 54 games. I think that's fair. What was some of the shortened, the lockout shortened season? It was what, 2016?
Something like that.
No, I was in. It was 2014.
14, 15?
Yeah. 13. This NHL lockout season.
Just searching.
Live fact checking.
Yeah.
I always forget what year that
It was 2012.
Okay, 2012, 13?
Yeah.
Because I think that was like 50 games or 60 games.
It was 48 games that year.
48 games. So yeah, like, then you've got more games. So 48 games, I think, has to be your limit as to what it needs to be. I've heard talks that they might try and do like sort of like soft bubbles where they have teams swapping through each bubble to keep something fresh coming through.
Yeah.
But there's that would really help it, because otherwise, yeah, like Heidi said, come March and you've played the Flames have played Toronto 6 times or whatever like that. It's going to be it's hockey and you're still be watching it, but you're going to be wanting to get to for them to play Vegas or Dallas or Pittsburgh or any of those other teams. So I do think that that's the other thing. I don't think they can have a full season only playing within these newly made divisions for this season, and be able to make it feel like a proper season. So, and then there's also the whole issue with the having to do that is the Canadian border. But here in Calgary, they're testing out that rapid testing program. And if that can get going and they can have that, even if it is, say, by February or March, then you can then you can actually have it. I think this season's going to be a bit of they'll have a plan A that is going to go forward with this plan no matter what. But if the border restrictions loosen, or they find out, or the rapid testing works, and everything like that, then they'll have multiple plans, backup plans in place to make it feel like a more normal season than what it would be if you were literally just playing, the Canadian teams were just playing themselves against each other for 48 to 54 games.
Yeah, like for me, I kind of want to hit that like 2/3 of a regular season mark. So we're probably talking in like the mid 50s, maybe pushing 60 games a season. To me, that kind of makes it feel like it's not kind of cheapening what we're used to. And in regards to the soft bubble idea, I think it's kind of interesting in the sense that like, is it going to kind of be similar to like the MLB when they do like their little like mini series where they go to that specific city and like play 3 or 4 games in a row? Is it going to be that sort of style, or is it going to be like a bunch of teams playing in that mini bubble where it's not like the same 2 teams going back to back to back?
I think it's going to be that MLB style. I think that makes more sense to me to maybe keep travel down a little bit. And then like if you have the players there for say like a week, like say like we have whatever Vancouver here in Calgary and they're here for a week or whatever, I think that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, because the other option would be like, let's say there's like 5 teams in the same city, but like it'll be a different team playing the host team each night sort of idea. And like in the span of like a week, Calgary and Vegas and San Jose might play Vancouver, but they're all in Vancouver or whatever host city at that same time. Like it's intriguing as far as the options of what they might do with it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a combination thereof. I think there will be 3, 4, 5 teams in one city at the same time, and even if you're not the host city, you might be playing another team. It's just with no fans and not being able to have fans in the arenas, then I don't think there's no reason why you can't do that. Especially if you have like doing the math, like you have to average 2-3 games a week. And then because I heard one where you go to a hub and you do all that, then you go home for a week, and then you go off to another one and do it again, and you're playing 3-4 games a week to do that. So I don't mind that. I think that I think that would work. That would satisfy keeping it in a bubble and making sure that you're not traveling all over the place like the like baseball did. As much as possible, because we saw that really they struggled with keeping those bubbles tight. And if you do it this way, then I think it gets rid of a lot of that potential issue. And then you're also not locking these players into a bubble for 2 months. They're allowed to go home and see their families and not feel trapped like they were in Edmonton and Toronto in August. So August, September. So I think that's probably what I'm guessing is what we're going to see at least to start, and then what hopefully we see some progress in nipping this COVID virus in the butt and starting to be able to see some more normalcy, maybe come February or March.
And yeah, if this Pfizer vaccine is as good as they're claiming it currently is, like that could be a game changer as far as what the NHL plans currently are. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Don't forget about the Russian vaccine too.
Oh yeah, then we all of a sudden we're speaking Russian and stuff. No, I'm kidding. I guess there's a few things that are coming in my head here that I'm kind of with Heidi that I'm still not like I will accept the all Canadian division, but I'm not super. I'm one of the few that's not super excited about seeing the same teams over and over again. I would be more open to it if we added the 2 northern stated teams into this. If we added Minnesota and Detroit and made this a 9-team division, I'd be like, this would be a little bit more interesting because we need a little bit more variety. But I don't know.
Buffalo.
Even yeah, but like if we did it if you did 3 divisions of 10 and you had Buffalo, Detroit, Minnesota, like you have like the Northern Division, I would be open to that.
Then how do you get people across the border?
That's the whole point of this is the border issue, right? So you can't that's unless those teams are willing to come up and spend it in Canada.
That's
I
not really
know.
fair to the players in those 3 teams, because if all the other players from all the Canadian teams can be at home with their families and they can't, that's not really
No, I know. It's
fair.
And if that's allowed, then why don't you just do the normal divisions?
yeah. I would be. I actually may be more open to that then. But yeah, I would there be a willingness to wait? Like just hear me out here. If vaccine is at least on the positive track, if the testing at the Calgary airport turns out on a positive track, would there be a willingness to wait till the start of February? No,
I don't think so.
No, I don't think a month's going to make a difference.
Because they're talking about getting it out to the mass public is going to be the start of the second quarter in 2021.
At the earliest.
So yeah, the likelihood of that playing a big part in the NHL's plans, I just don't see happening.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're not seeing like, yeah, we're not seeing anything changing other than just the number, anything drastically changing until until February, March at the very earliest, in terms of what the landscape of what the border looks like.
Yeah, and I don't think the border is changing anytime soon. There's rising cases in both countries, so
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it wasn't even just an anti-Trump thing. It was just these cases, the case numbers are getting out of hand and we need to keep them closed.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm just tossing out some other scenarios too, because I mean, even the travel, like I guess the other concern that I have, even traveling right now to Ontario and Quebec, I would think if I'm a Western Canadian team, I'm not sure how excited I am about going there. And the Canadian government isn't allowing the Raptors to play at home. They're going to have to play somewhere in the States. They're going to be the Harlem Globetrotters.
To be honest, though, like the numbers in Ontario and Quebec, when you compare the testing, the testing numbers to BC and Alberta aren't that much different. We're all in a shitstorm right now, and it's all about just getting into it. It's all about knowing what they can do to mitigate everything as much as possible. If they can find a way, because they won't be flying. Remember, they'll be flying private, right? So,
And there won't be fans as long as the host team is doing like their due diligence as far as like sanitizing the arena and whatnot. They're probably not going to be going out and doing like team building things or team building dinners at restaurants or anything like that. They'll just be having their catered meals at the arena and that sort of thing. So I think as far as traveling province to province within Canada, I can't see that being a huge hindrance.
Yeah, like I said, they won't be exposed to the general public, or if they are, it's gonna be very, very little. So I don't see it being an issue if they can figure out those details.
Yeah, I'm not super like I accept this as this is what we're going to have to do, but I hope that there's some sort of adjustment as we go forward, because I mean, yeah, it'll be fun to see more Leaf games, but the problem. I think the reason why we want the All Canadian division has been something that's so excited is the fans, right? Is because the Leaf fans come in droves out here, the Canadian fans come in droves out here, right? And we won't have that aspect of it. I don't know if it's like it'll be intense, but it's just not going to be the same as what it would be during a regular season Toronto Vancouver game when the fans are there.
Yeah, but at this point, what other options are there, right? It's no hockey or that, and there's still going to be lots of fun with it because
the internet exists.
The internet exists.
That's
Twitter
true.
exists. Reddit exists. Facebook exists.
You can figure something out. You can have there's software to have watch parties, and so that people are watching games at the same time and they're all connected and they can rub on each other and all that stuff. I think there's ways to make it work and still make the game exciting.
Yeah, I think it's like I said. I just don't know what else to. Like you said, yeah, it's not gonna be perfect, but it's still gonna be better than not having hockey or having to get up at like 5, 6 in the morning to go watch Swedish and Russian hockey games.
Yes, I mean, as God love Chris Weber in his Podkolzin updates, but you know,
hey, he finally got off the fourth line, and that
yay!
got 2 points. So look at that. You give him ice time and he produces.
I think the other thing that I have, the other interesting thing that I wonder is going to happen. I still would like to know how trades are going to work, but that will be a topic.
Yeah, again, that'll all come down to whether or not, because if they're doing an all Canadian division, then they're going to have to move the Canadian the Stockton Heat, the Utica Comets, the Bakersfield Condors. If I got them all, all the Canadian NHL affiliates up to Canada for call-up reasons, because otherwise it's not going to work.
My understanding is I read somewhere that there is some resistance to do that because of the cost. That they would rather just keep them down there in the States.
And then what will happen then is I'm sure the NHL will have some sort of taxi squad situation where they won't count against the cap, but they aren't down there.
Essentially like a
spot for Louis Erickson.
So essentially like a black ace sort of situation where they don't count. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's what they did for the playoffs. Like they had a couple extra people on their roster.
Yeah, that's a playoff. Well, not tradition, but it's been that way in the playoffs for a long time. It'll just be brought to the regular season to allow the team's flexibility.
Yeah.
Should it be called an Uber squad now? Should we change the name of it? Uber?
There's still taxis, Kevin.
That's true. There are still taxis.
And I'm pretty sure Uber is probably copyrighted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Lyft.
Yeah, hey, they could be the Lyft squad on the Canucks for sure.
I'm sure Francesco would love that.
Yes.
But with trades, it'll all depend on what bubbles they're in, what the border situation looks like. If the rapid testing's there, then it's not going to be an issue. But if they're trading within the States, then it shouldn't be within an issue. Or in Canada, it won't be an issue. It's just swapping. The amount of testing that'll have to happen between them is just gonna. That's what it's going to be. The way I look at it is, if they're trading between a Canadian team and an American team, it's all going to come down to what the border looks like. If they have that rapid testing and they don't have to quarantine for 10 to 14 days, then it's not an issue at all. It's just going to be the same as normal.
Yeah. The other thing that I was thinking about, just quickly, I was thinking about Travis Hamonic as an example to this. I wonder if he plays. Do you think he plays this year?
I don't think so. I'm not counting on it. I think he might still be just not willing to play with everything going on, but it's tough to say, and it's tough to say whether they'll have really a spot for him to play anyways.
Well, it's where's he going to go, right? I know Canucks have been in on him, but there's not much cap space there. I don't know. It'll be interesting because I know nothing's really changed in terms of that aspect for him. It's still a very risky proposition for him to go out and do that. especially if they're going to be going to a bubble and back to family when his daughter has issues. So with her immunity system. So yeah, I think it's definitely up in the air. I think it's all going to come down to what it looks like when the NHL starts up, because we're in a holding pattern in terms of a lot of the bigger names, and there's a lot of teams that are waiting for the ability to put players on the long-term injury reserve to be able to open up the cap space they need to add a player for this season. I think that's why we haven't seen Mikael Granlund sign. We haven't seen Mike Hoffman sign as well, and a bunch of others. So I think it all comes down to what it looks like come mid to late December, when camps are in full swing, and what the details look like. He's definitely someone who needs to take care, make sure that the details work for him and his situation.
Yeah,
For sure.
That will be the other thing. And I think the other one other thing, and I maybe we'll get Kevin Woodley on to talk about this. This is an interesting situation again for goaltenders, especially when you look at I think Calgary, and specifically when you have a guy like Rittich, who is normally a pretty good starter, how you are going to manage your goaltending. I think that is going to be one of the big differences. I'll be really fascinated how the goaltending is handled.
Well, yeah, because
especially if there's an increase in back-to-backs.
Yeah, there's going to be an increase in back-to-backs and 3 and 4 and everything like that. So it's going. You can't. The plans are going to be based off of how the goaltenders feel. With Calgary, though, Kev, Markstrom is your starter, bona fide starter, despite the fact that Rittich is a good starts off the season well. Your number one goaltender is Markstrom, and you're going to play him more often than not. I don't see it being a situation where, like, well, Rittich starts the season well, so we're going to start him. No, Markstrom's your starter. You're paying him $6 million a year. He went out and made a massive investment on him, and you're not going to overthink it in terms of that aspect. But you're also going to make sure that he gets enough rest. He's someone who likes to play a lot, but his game deteriorates very quickly once he's tired. So that's for me, for the Flames. That's when to watch is how many games in a row does he play before they give him a rest.
But you're paying the $6 million a year, but I would argue you're paying $4 million of that to make sure he has playoff success. And that's where my question, because the Flames could go unbeaten and win the Canadian division, but if they have no playoff success, this Markstrom signing is a bust.
Yeah, but again, it's all, he is your starter, so you're going to give him the bulk of the starts no matter what, and even if it is 60-40, whatever that looks like, giving him playing 3 games and playing Rittich 2 type deal. I don't think it's something that I think it's something you can definitely overthink and put yourself on the wrong foot.
Yeah. I'm just fascinated how the mindset would be of the goaltender. But the last thing I wanted to kind of, is there anything else we wanted to touch on this? The last thing we normally are in hockey season, but we're not. What are we doing to keep our mind occupied? What's keeping us sane?
Well, Chris is getting married.
Yeah, I got married,
Chris
so that kept
married.
me pretty busy.
Chris got married, so.
Well, we're still planning for the public reception next September as well. So we still have that to plan towards. So I'm probably going to be fairly occupied with that and just life in general.
What else do you do for fun now, Chris, that you're just hanging out at home in the evenings? And
well, I play a little bit more video games as of recently.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be doing the same thing here. We just bought our friends Karen and James bought the brand new Xboxes, so they sold us their Xbox One. One of their Xbox Ones. Apparently, they had 3 of them. For 2 people, I don't understand why they had 3, but that's besides the point. So we got that this morning, actually. So we're gonna be playing video games as well.
I've got to shake off the rust of my Chell game. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And I haven't played, like, I have a PS3, but I haven't played games on a console for like a really long time. So that'll be interesting. Again, like, I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. So that'll at least keep me occupied. And other than that, like, sorry to speak for Sean, but like the other things that we kind of watch around here. We watch soccer, and we watch wrestling, and watch a little bit of NFL and stuff. So we're keeping ourselves busy.
the Monday and Friday wrestling routine here is pretty strong now.
It might be like one of like the most like routine things we do. Is it like, it's like, no, on Monday we watch Raw is it's 3 hours on Monday. So and we always have that planned out, and we always do that. It never seems to get changed. So yeah, we'll keep ourselves preoccupied. But I do miss hockey though.
I'm missing soccer because it's an international break, so we don't have Bayern or Liverpool games to watch.
Yeah,
either.
that's the thing. That doesn't even come back until I think like the 21st or something like that. So
yeah, NFL for me. Well, I'm still in school, so that's occupying a heck of a lot of my time. But that's like the term will be done in about 3-4 weeks. So the Christmas time will be interesting, but there'll still be NFL. Video games, and yeah, there's lots keeping my mind. It's just it's weird that there's no. It's not super weird, but it's kind of weird. There's no hockey.
I'm looking forward to the month-long World Junior camp. There'll be some hockey news and everything there. That'll be good.
yeah, I'm glad that that's still going on, because Christmas is just going to be very different for I think a lot of people this year. But at least having some form of World Juniors, I think, will at least make Christmas feel a little same this year. So, because I can't imagine the Christmas season without World Juniors. So
Yeah, Boxing Week and World Juniors are just one and the same.
And I'm so grateful to have a job where we're closed between Christmas and New Year. So I have all the time to watch all the games, and I probably will.
Yeah. All right, that's pretty much it. Is there anything else we need to talk about? We have, our goal was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I think
it's like an hour. It's just over an hour.
We just did an hour. Good for us. There we go.
But we don't have as many people.
That's well, and it's kind of a quiet time. There's not a lot going on, but we've got
Devin's not here to rile everyone up.
Yeah, I think it's Devin.
Yeah,
Devin's not here.
Yeah, Devin drinking beer and choosing the Masters over us. So it's maybe, but we'll be back next week in some way, shape, or form. How do we follow everyone?
I am Beardy Canuck 03 on Twitter.
I'm at Hide Amazeballs on every social media.
And I am at Schneid's on most social media.
Devin is Gordhow09. Tyler is T Noble, TNOBLE. Tyler.
Hashtag Noble Nation.
Yes, hashtag Noble Nation. And I am KVOLE, podcast_hockey, hockey podcast. Subscribe, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks, everyone. We will talk to you all very soon.